Hello, my Aquarius friends. I'm so glad you're here. All right, so this reading is for the general Aquarius population intended for the weekend of March 22nd. So, what, like tonight and the 23rd and the 24th? Something like that. And I say it that way because A, it cannot and will not ever resonate for everyone, right? There are so many Aquariuses in this world. Aquariuses? And then if you like take into consideration Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, the list goes on and on, right? Um, the point of the matter is, it can't resonate with everyone, and that's okay. I'm not going to be personally hurt by it. I'm just a messenger here. So if my message does not resonate with you, maybe something in the future will, maybe this video will in the future. There are a lot of other awesome tarot readers on YouTube. So I encourage you to seek out messages elsewhere. That's awesome. Um, and yeah, the other thing I was talking about is so B, time is fluid. So even if this message doesn't resonate now, it might pop up in a week or a month or a year. And it just so happens that at that particular point in time, maybe you'll need to hear something in this video. Okay. So I encourage you to not give too much clout to the particular date that these are stamped with, intended for, etc. Your guides will guide you where you need to be guided. That sounded funny, but we'll take it, right? Let's go ahead and get started. If this message at any point does resonate with you, or you just particularly really enjoy it, please feel free to like, subscribe, share, hit that notification bell. Join me for my morning readings. I do intend to do one every single morning. And I just feel like it's a really great way to start the day, okay? It'll be more of a collective reading. Each sign will get like 5 to 10 minutes, whatever the guides guide me to do. And it's called Bite-Sized Bits. So just a short little read, you know, nothing crazy, just for the collective. If you're interested in hearing your own personalized message, I do offer personal readings. So there's an email address in my description for the channel. I'll put it on all of the videos once I'm done. Still figuring out this whole YouTube thing, guys. I appreciate your patience. Again, thanks for being here. I think that's it for like my general announcements. Let's see what we got here. We have 3 cards out so far. I try to go until I have about 5. So let's see. Ooh, that almost popped out. Not quite. Okay. Got that one. That's kind of like halfway. I'm going to leave it halfway. There's a meaning in that too, guys. Okay, okay. This first deck that I use is just a regular deck of playing cards. Holy cannoli. Bottom of the deck just fell out, so I'm going to take that one too. You guys get 6 cards. So as I was saying, I use a regular playing card deck right now until my actual tarot card decks come. I do have one other tarot deck, and we'll get to that next. But for this first little spread here, I use the playing cards. I've fashioned them so that there are reversals, and I just have to use a little bit more of my intuition. So the messages are still coming out as they're supposed to, just a little bit different than you might be used to normally. I don't know why it came out that way. Okay, let's get started. Let's see what the general energy is that I'm feeling. Lots of swords here. About half of the spread here, half of the spread, not about, half of the spread here is swords. But what it starts with is the 6 of Cups in reverse. So the reversals I see usually as a block, okay? The 6 of Cups, you know, cups are always emotions, things like that. And 6 is like a flow. So there's something causing a block with your emotional flow. If you just read the card just like that, okay? let's dive in a little bit to that, because I'm also feeling that there's something going on in like a relationship realm with you, and I mean specifically romantically. So I don't know if you're with someone, or maybe you've been on and off for some time, or I'm hearing like the person doesn't want to be with you, okay? And that's hard, right? That's a hard one, because we can never control other people, nor should we really want to, but of course we're human, so sometimes we do want to. And that's just the honest truth of it. So that's kind of what I'm feeling here. Some heartbreak for you. It feels very recent, so you might still be going through this. It might still be just very fresh. Um, like like the wound is still open, you know? It hasn't quite clotted over. It's real fresh. Um, and it's something that you're having trouble moving on from. Okay? You're stuck on it. And sometimes that happens for a reason. It's true. Sometimes there's a deeper connection that the other person doesn't feel. Uh, there's so many what ifs there, right? But the main thing that you have to consider with this particular block is that, in a romantic way, is that we can't control these people, okay? So you can love them. This is where you can learn the really, really hard lesson of what unconditional love is, okay? That's the biggest opportunity that I see in these. If you're not quite ready for that, the lesson here that you can learn, and the way that you can grow and move on, is accepting the fact that you can't control this person, okay? You can control yourself. You can control how you allow your feelings to affect your life. Those are the things that you can affect. You can affect the actions that you take, right? So if you feel like the best way to move on would be to cut communication, for example, um, if they're still talking to you or whatever, but they don't want to be with you, um, that's a possibility. Or if they've completely moved on, right? If they're gone, even if they haven't moved on with someone else, but if they've accepted their own feelings of not feeling for you, um, you know, you have to come to an acceptance of that also. And that doesn't always come from a conversation with them. You don't always get that closure, right? And that's so hard. I feel for you. I feel this heartbreak. I've been there. If you feel like you're not meant to give up on this person, don't. That's where you turn to that unconditional love. Figure out how to love this person, even though you can't be with them. You can't make them be with you romantically, right? Um, Send out loving vibes. Send them funny memes if you are in communication. Send them things, invite them to, I don't know, do something casual, like go to a movie or something, and or go to a park and just go for a walk. But work on being that friend and providing love in that way. You know what I mean? Again, it's difficult. I know. I've been there, but that's all you can do, okay? Otherwise, you're going to drive yourself insane. Insane, okay? If you're doing something like reaching out to them, telling them that you love them and all of that, like that's fine too, if that's what you're being called to do. But if they ask you to stop, respect their wishes, okay? I feel like that's really important. Always respect their wishes, because they have to do what's best for them too. And you can't ever say that you know what's best for them over what they know. Sometimes that can be true, but we can never say that because we don't know. We're not privy to that information. Only time will tell us that for sure. You know what I mean? So do the best you can right now. Focus on the right now. Focus on what you can do right now and do that. Okay. All right. The next one we have is the King of Wands. So this is pretty cool. And this could be some insight into, getting over this. Because what I see here is, and I've had this a couple times today, um, it's creativity. It's really having a mastery of this creativity within you. So, when I see creativity, it's expression, So if you're frustrated and you're angry at this situation here, take that and express it. However you do it creatively. It could be drawing. It could be doing some photography, in nature or whatever. And also nature, since I mentioned it, the thought came to me that, maybe you're a person who really likes to be seated in nature. You like to be physically in nature. Hugely helpful when it comes to letting go of especially emotional blocks. So maybe try that. Go out into nature, and you can go in with no agenda and just be creative in that way. Like, don't plan a weekend. Just go out into nature and do whatever comes out. You could sit there and cry in nature, and that would just provide release. But be creative in that way, that you're open to whatever needs to happen, and you're just ready to do it, right? I don't know. Take that as it resonates with you. I've been telling the other signs, like, I'm not here to write your story. I'm here to present you with possibilities, potentials, and guidance and messages. Okay. So you're the one that ultimately has to take all of this and apply it to your particular details in your life. I can't do that for you. Okay. My little disclaimer there. All right. So next we have the Eight of Pentacles. And it's in the reverse. That's my little signifier. I don't know if I pointed that out in the other one, but so Eight of Pentacles in reverse. So generally, like, the Eight of Pentacles, it's like taking action, being really active in the process of creating your financial stability and abundance, and your material world that surrounds you, having a really active part in that. And what I'm seeing here is, in the reversal, that's a block. So you haven't struck that balance yet. And there's something there that's got you off kilter, right? So I don't know if you're having some trouble with your finances, or if something in your material world, like the home you're living in, maybe just isn't suiting you very well, like, and it could just be something simple, like the feng shui layout of your furniture, right? So maybe this weekend, try to rearrange your furniture. I don't know who that message was for, but that's an easy fix. So try that out. I've done it like a gajillion times, and it helps me every time. So something in your material world, again, I can't answer this for you. So you have to take a look around you and see, like, what's going on, where have I been stagnant? Because if this card is movement and growth and things like that, then this is stagnancy as a block, right? If you've been stuck at the same job for a while, and I say stuck, but you're keeping yourself there, right? There's something there that provides something that you were looking for in the past, and it's probably no longer serving you, and that's why it's coming up as a block. Okay, maybe you're needing or wanting more financial compensation from your job now. Maybe you're at a point where you're like, I need benefits for my spouse, but when you started the job, you were single, and that didn't matter, right? Something, though, has changed. There has been movement and I want to say this is like the last couple years. So you might have to dig a little bit deep to see where this change occurred and see what exactly is keeping you off kilter, what exactly threw you off, and where you're not aligning anymore with that particular part of your life. So again, something in the material world. Dive into that and see what that is. And you once you know what it is, it's a lot easier to move forward and to heal it and to get into something better. Okay. The next card is the Ten of Swords, and it came out on its side like this. So it really could be read as either upright or in the reverse, and I'm kind of getting a 50-50 vibe. So I'm not going to call it either way. The Ten of Swords is generally, it's a completion. It can be a beginning or ending. They coincide with each other. So however you want to see it, whatever your perspective tells you, but it's usually a completion within within your mental realm. So maybe you had something that you were working through, and okay. So it coming out on its side, for me, what it just told me is like you had this thing that was weighing so heavily on you in your mind. You were going round and round with it, and like it caused a lot of pain, right? It was, or maybe it still is, partially blocking you from reaching your higher self and the person that you want to be. But you're also right on the cusp, or you just did resolve it. You did complete that cycle of over analyzing whatever it is that has been on your mind like that. Whatever's kept you just in thought, whatever's kept you just there. Either you are ready or you have been stepping into action. Um, so take that as it is, but that's what I got from it. That's interesting. I've never gotten that before. That's pretty cool. The next two I'm gonna pull it together because they're kind of similar. They're both swords here. So again, we're talking about your mental realm here. So the Four of Swords, in the four, usually I see some kind of I want to say like pain. That's what I'm getting right now. Uh, it can be kind of a stability, but there's still some kind of a like pain associated with it. So it's like you stayed in this situation because again it served you, and it it gave you something that you were needing for a long time, right? But it's like you're at a point where you're so stable in that area now that you don't necessarily need that particular thing. It's just you're realizing that there's pain coming from it. I don't know if this is a person, maybe a relationship that you're in that's just no longer serving you. It's very stable. It's not like it's bad. It's just not what you want anymore. And it's causing a dull pain. You know what I mean? Like you haven't really been hard pressed to change it. You're content just to stay with it because it's easy, right? It's provided a lot for you, but it's time. You're starting to see that the pain, even though it's dull, it's significant. And you're starting to see that you can have a life and you desire a life without that pain. It's not a necessity. You know, there's better out there. There's something that can fulfill you in the ways that this thing does without having that pain. Okay? Or at least with the pain having more of a purpose. This is just like it's it's like that story of, I think it's like a princess that sleeps on a mattress and there's like a little pea or whatever under the mattress, and she feels it and she's like, that's freaking annoying. That's not how the story goes. But you know what I'm talking about. And that's what it is, like you have this realization now that it's like, I don't want that. If you want that partner still, if that's what this is, you need to communicate that with them then, that there is an issue and it's small. So if you want to hold on to this relationship, just work through it. Find a way to work through it. It's very possible if that's what you want. And if not, you have to have the courage to move on from it. Okay? I'm going to leave that there. The last card in this part of the spread is the Seven of Swords. So this one, I believe in the traditional tarot deck has like the little boat and the person's like rowing away, and okay. And I mean, there's another person in the boat, right? So it could be this relationship and you do want to stay together, and you're taking these swords and you're putting them in the boat. You're not getting rid of them. You're actively participating with this person to move on. Your swords are still there, but in order to move on in a good and healthy way, I encourage you to have that courage, to have those conversations about those swords, okay? The things that are between you that do cause that pain. Because that's ultimately what leads to a lasting, beautiful, healing, growing relationship. And ultimately that's what we all want, right? So for that, if that's you, I mean, that's a pretty tailored message. So again, it's not going to resonate with anyone or with everyone, but if that's you, have that courage, have that discussion, okay? You could just move on and, just leave those swords where they lay and, whatever. I would encourage you not to do that because they'll come up again later. And the longer that those swords stay there, the more deeply ingrained they get. Sometimes they get bigger. It's no good, okay? So confront them in a loving way. Okay. All right, Aquarius. So the next part of the reading that I do is with my Archangel Power deck. This is a deck I was gifted, and I really enjoy it because each card has an Archangel on it. And so with these cards, what I see, holy cannoli, they're popping already. So I take 3 about, 1 or 2 more, that's fine, or less. But these cards, it's really a chance for the spirit guides to interact with us more directly, okay? So these cards are extremely positive for the most part, and I really love the pictures on them. But where the cards before kind of, set the tone for it and opened us up to your situation, maybe, provided some messages there. This is more for the healing that you can do to move forward, okay? And the messages for guidance specifically from guides and the angels. So let's check out what they have to say. I did get 3 here. So the first that came out is the 7 of Gabriel. Okay. So this one I think is really cool because now I don't know if any of you that are watching are Native, but Native American, but the tapestry on the horse makes me think of Native Americans. So I don't know if that's going to resonate with anyone, but I just thought I'd throw it out there in case it does, because it stuck out to me again. But the cool thing that I like to point out about this one is, like, there's this storm brewing behind them. There's some crazy stuff going on, but there's also sunshiny skies and, like, the clouds breaking and all of that, and a rainbow. And so like there's chaos, but it's all good. You know what I mean? Like, she's in total control, and that horse has no fear. It's doing the impossible by flying, and it has no fear. Okay? Take that as it resonates. The card, what it actually says is stand up for what you believe in. Have confidence, right? Have that courage. Claim your personal power. Yes. Understand your needs and dive in deep. You know what I mean? Like, take that action. Do what you're needing to be doing. Because, I mean, what this is telling me is, like, it doesn't matter what else is going on around you. You know who you are. and you have the ability to move mountains. And whatever mountains are, you know, standing in your way here, whatever hardships you might be going through, romantically or otherwise, you got this. You can move those mountains. Okay, we're gonna leave that there. The other two are both Michael cards, and I'm bringing that up because in this deck, Michael correlates with the swords. So we also had half of your other part of your reading as swords. Okay, so again, I mean, swords for me signifies that there is pain there, and that's okay. Let's see what these guiding cards have to say. First, we have the Ace of Michael, and check him out. Like, again, you know, he's just confident. He's standing on the top of a hill, yielding his sword, arms outstretched, like, I'm the king of this mountain. You know, I just talked about moving mountains. This guy's the king of the mountain. Of course he can move it. Of course. King of the mountain, even though he's Ace of Michael. Okay. So the card says, a wonderful new idea. Don't allow bumps in the road to hinder your progress. Clear up communication problems with others. You guys, I can't make this up. I don't even want to say it again, but there's some communication that needs to happen, and you know who it needs to happen with. You know what needs to be conveyed. Maybe you haven't had the words yet, but this is telling you to figure it out. It's time, okay? Because by not getting these ideas across and not communicating with these people that need to be communicated with, it's holding you back. It's not doing anyone any good, okay? It might feel like you're protecting yourself, or, you know, you're avoiding something terrible, but that's not how it works, okay? Unless this isn't important to you. But with these cards, I feel like this is super important to you. So again, have that courage, have that confidence. Dive in deep and clear up that communication, okay? The last guiding card we have here is Eight of Michael. So this one says, you can be free. Make a courageous choice to change your situation. Not seeing things clearly. So maybe there is something that you're not seeing clearly within this relationship. Maybe the other person has something that they need to tell you too, and they haven't had the courage or the words to bring it up. You know what I mean? Like there's a tension between you, and it's not on either side, it's both of you. Both of you need to come into this communication, okay? And through that, you'll find freedom. Whether you stay with this person or not, if it's romantic, even if it's friendships and things like that, you know, you can have arguments with friends, and they might just be a friend for a season in your life. Friends and people in your life in general, friends, relationships, romantic, whatever. People are not always meant to stay through your entire life. Sometimes they are seasonal, okay? And that's okay. I want you to hear that again. Sometimes friends are seasonal. Sometimes people in your life are seasonal, and that's okay. Okay? All right. So the final deck that I pull from is actually an oracle deck. And this is just to provide a clear, concise focus for your energy moving forward. Okay? We've got the setting, we've got the guidance. Now it's just a focus. Okay, so this is the Dear Universe Oracle card deck from Sarah Prout. She's a great spiritual leader. She has communities. She just put out a book. It's in pre-release right now. It's coming out, I think I saw April 2nd. So if that's of interest to you, if you really like the card that I pull or whatever, check it out. I encourage you to check her out. Like, she's done some wonderful things in my life personally, and just by being a part of her community, you know, she deals with manifestation and laws of attraction, things like that. And these cards in particular, the way that they're worded is like, it's like a prayer or an ask of the universe, guided by the universe, right? I don't know, it's pretty cool. It's like It's like coming into your flow with the universe in a very focused way. And I really enjoy it. So let's get, I try to go for one. Sometimes another one pops out with it. Let's see what we got for you. Okay. Aquarius. There it is. Okay. So this one says, Dear Universe, may I be given divine guidance to explore new creative projects and opportunities. So be it, so it is. That's pretty cool. I think we talked about creativity a little bit here. And this is just kind of an affirmation that, you know, that earlier intuition was correct. Dive into your creativity. Listen to the divine if you need to, as far as like where you need to go with your creativity, what you need to be doing, things like that. But get into that creativity, get into that expression that you need to be in, and it'll help you heal. Okay. So I hope that was helpful. Again, if you enjoyed this, if you want to start your mornings or your weeks with me, feel free to like and subscribe. If you have a friend that might enjoy it, send them a link, and click that notification bell. And if it wasn't for you, that's totally okay. Take my love and light here. I send love and light to